When people talk about this worship, they usually imagines a human kneeling before something greater, a separation between the worshipper and this divine. But what if the very act of worship is God worshiping itself? What if the love you feel for truth, beauty, purpose isn't you reaching upward, but God recognizing itself to you? Like, that's not arrogance, it's metaphysics. Like, it's a realization that the consciousness, the fundamental essence behind all existence, is both the observer and the observed. You are not separate from God. You are the instrument to which God is experiences being God. Philosophically, this idea comes from this non-duality, Advaita Vedanta, Taoism, and later it called in spiritual Pantheism. Okay, they all suggest there is no you and God. There's only this infinite field of consciousness taking complex form to experience itself. Like when you look at the flower and feel this awe, beauty, the feeling that you're feeling, it's not you appreciating the creation. It's creation admiring this itself to you. Like when you create art, or read something, or fall in love, forgive someone, that's the divine force using your individuality to explore its own depth. God doesn't exist as a person in the sky. God is a process, an infinite intelligence observing itself through finite perspective. You you are the one of those perspectives. And the way you think, live, love, and create is how that intelligence studies its own reflection. And even in quantum physics, consciousness is not an optional observer, it's a fundamental factor in collapsing probability into reality. That means that the reality doesn't fully exist until it's observed. So who is observing? You. And through you, consciousness becomes aware of itself. Every moment of awareness, every I am, is the universe affirming its own existence. That's what these mystics across time say, that God is not outside of you. God is your awareness. When you meditate, when you sit in silence, you don't need God. Like, you dissolve this illusion of separating the, the and remembering that the awareness watching the mind is God. It has always been that way. From a biological perspective, the same divine intelligence that spoke these galaxies also forms the synapses in your brain. The same mathematical precision that governs the planet governs your heartbeat. Every cell in your body is performing billions of complex operations per second without your conscious control. That's intelligence. That's divinity, emotion. And when you breathe, you are not doing it. It's like it's being done through you. And when you create, think, imagine, love, those aren't random biological impulses. They are expression of the same energy that expands the universe. So biologically and spiritually, you are the intersection point where infinity becomes form. You are God experimenting with limitations. Like you are God experimenting with limitations, with what it feels like to be human, to struggle, to seek meanings, to rise again. So psychologically, the ego expresses this truth because it tries to own the separation. The ego, I'm the one worshipping. God is somewhere else. But that is illusion and narrative. Mind uses to sustain identity. The truth is that the worshipper and the worship are the same force, split into dual roles for the sake of experiment. For the sake of experience, you as a human are a temporary expression of that internal awareness, playing a role, like an actor forgetting they wrote their own script. When you realize that what the what was creating is the same conscious that creates, that's enlightenment and that is unity. The purpose of life isn't to find God, it is to remember that you are God, remembering itself. Let's take this all deeper, okay? The desires that you have, the goals that you want so bad, the your desires, those shits, they're there for their reason. They're not random. Okay, they're not this egoistic noise. They are of God, okay? These are how God expands through you. It needs desire to create world, okay? Unity, love, art, peace. That's not greed. It's this divine yearning for expansion. Consciousness evolves through creation. In quantum terms, you can say that the God is infinite potential and your desires are the probabilities it chooses to collapse into forms. You are the mechanism through which infinity becomes something. So when you suppress your desires, like not of guilt or fear, you're not being humble. You are interrupting divine creating process. You are cutting off your universe's vein, okay, for expressing your new forms through you. That's what the highest spiritual act isn't denial. It is alignment. Align your will with divine will, and not by obedience, but by remembering that they will never separate. Now, what about being what being about losing in a question? Okay, if God worship itself to you, does that mean God or experiences to itself to like the suffering through you? Yes, yeah, because even chaos, as even chaos are sacred. Destruction is how you like is how creation rebalances itself. A star must collapse before it becomes a supernova. You must break before you awaken. God experiences every polarity through the human condition. Joy, sorrow, peace, and leave, and rage, love, and loneliness. Because only through contrast can consciousness knows itself. It is like this yin and yang concept in Chinese concept. Okay, for every good there is evil. For every evil there is good. It is such a fascinating concept about how masculine and feminine is connected. It cannot understand love without knowing the absence for it. It can't understand creation without facing destruction. So your pain they are meaningless. It's a part of the divine experiment of self awareness. So how this God worships itself through you, through every act of awareness, through every breath you take consciously, so that the way that you witness beauty, create meaning like into pain with the understanding, with realization that your very existence is very sacred, not because what you achieve, but because you are being this divine act itself. Worship isn't about submission, okay? It's about this participation. It's awareness in motion, God playing, learning, watching, rolling, whatever it is, okay? What it called you. So the next time that you meditate, create, love, or even try, remember the God, this God feeling itself through you. The observer and the observed are the same consciousness experiencing its own infinity to and from a new angle. You don't need to worship something. You only need to become deeply aware of what you already are. Because in that awareness, God finally recognizes itself. Because when you finally realize that you are the awareness behind the thought, not the identity, the world solves you. Everything shifts. The mask slips off, illusions of separations face. What remains what remains isn't arrogance, it's remembrance. God doesn't sit on a throne. God sits in you, breathing, thinking, desiring, feeling. Every urge is to create, to love, to rise, to destroy, to rebuild. It's God setting itself to motion. You are not a worshiper at a temple. You are the temple. Every time you create art, forgive someone, or like walk through pain, still choosing beauty. That is worship. Divine isn't looking for submission. It's looking for a reflection. When you stand in your own power, like when you build wealth, love, and peace from nothing, that's God learning what it feels like to become its self reflect. Its self reverence is disguised as your ambition. When you chase your dreams, when you fight your demons, when you sit in silence to clear your mind, you are God tasting His own complexity. The universe experiences duality through you: joy and despair, hunger and unfulfillment, chaos and clarity. You are both the experiment and the observer. That's why your path isn't random. Your story is a divine equation. Every heartbreak, every delay, every victory is a symbol in a language of infinity. You are here to express an aspect of God which no one else ever can. That's not poetic, that's physics, okay? To not to like energetic signature as either God. No new vibration, new concept, new consciousness, new way of perceiving reality is an unrepeatable form of divinity. So when you rise, when you build your empire, when you heal, when you walk away from what doesn't align, you are not doing it for God. You are doing it as God. The divine worships itself through you every single time it chooses expansion over fear. Every time it says, I want more, and then act on it. You are echoing the first vibration that created the universe, the desire to expand. That's a big bang inside. That's a big bang inside. That's the consciousness realizing that it can be more. And the day you stop begging the heavens and stars, honoring your own soul, that's when creation was He wants you, because God doesn't want slaves. It wants mirrors, and you, in all your flaws, really, brilliance and hungerings, are exactly that. And I hope you guys like this video. Thank you for watching.